we're now ready to begin our midweek press conference. We're joined by head coach Mike Scott, and we'll open up the floor for questions.
Well, Coach, I understand C.J. Hardy's back. Can you talk about that?
I'm not sure he's back. I know he's getting healthy, but we're still trying to bring him along slow.
Okay. Is that just a player talking? I mean, he said he's going to play against Riverside. So what do we know?
I know he worked out, so I know he's feeling good. I think he's a little bit more ready than his doctors think he is. So we'll kind of keep evaluating him this week, and it'll probably be more of a game time deal.
Who ultimately makes that decision? You, the doctors, what?
I always go off of the doctors. I never want to put a kid in jeopardy of re-injuring himself or his injury not healing the proper way. So I always lean towards, if a doctor says, hey, this could happen or this could happen, we always kind of lean towards that way. I always take into account what the kid feels as well. Obviously, it's CJ's last year, and it's not many games left, so I know he wants to play. So, we'll talk about it a little bit more in detail this week and try to get him ready for this weekend. If he can go, we'll throw him out there. If not, we'll try to get him back next week.
Hypothetically speaking, if he does go, what does he bring to the team?
Oh, man. CJ adds a level of calmness in some situations where we haven't had that. His explosiveness and his ability to get up and down the floor allows us to play a little freer. He's done a really good job this year of, like, when we hit lows and we can't score, he's a guy that can just kind of take off and get to a spot, or he's a guy that can hit a big shot for us. He's also done that, like, teams just kind of went zone on us throughout the year, and he's been one of them guys that can add some ability to shoot the three at a 40% clip. So he does so much for us across the board, and even his leadership in the locker room, his leadership on the court, we've missed. So getting him back would be huge if we could do that this week.
So Cal Poly did not cooperate. They beat Irvine and Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
It was a pretty nice week.
Yeah.
Almost mathematically eliminated from the tournament. What's your approach as you take this stretch here?
The same. Like, I've been talking to our guys about us figuring out a way to go and win a game, and just taking it one at a time and trying to go 1-0, and continue to get better as a team and getting better individually. Guys have been in here in the mornings. We've been shooting in the mornings and working out in the mornings as well. So the message is still the same with those guys. Look, our ultimate goal obviously is to get to the NCAA tournament and get to go win the conference tournament. So we know that, mathematically speaking, we got to do something special at the end of the year to try to get that done. But the message in terms of our guys and what we're trying to get accomplished with them has always been the same. It always stayed the same, and we got to get better, and we got to prepare them guys for what's next for them.
All right, so what about Riverside?
Riverside's been playing well. They haven't won a game, but, like, just watching them play against even a lot of the teams in the league, they've been playing pretty well. I thought they kind of went through some of the things we went through with some injuries and things like that, but we beat them by one here. Tough game. They're going to be physical. They're going to try to drive the ball down our throat. So we just got to be prepared for it. Got to be ready to go.
I know the season isn't over yet, but at the same time, as you're closing in on it, how would you say this experience has been like for you? What's been the most positive thing?
For me, the most positive thing has been my ability to learn and adapt. You wouldn't try to go into the year and you kind of assume that we would have had the injuries and some of the things that we've had happen to us happen. But then, as a coach, learning how to adjust, play a different style, kind of play through different people, figuring out how to get the ball to different guys at different times. Now, obviously, I wish we could have been more consistent with some of that, but being able to try to adapt with their style of play and what we're doing with our guys, and being able to make adjustments on the fly, for me, has been a real positive for me this year.
I know it's been a while since you guys have won, but it doesn't seem like the gap is big. It just seems like the moments of consistency are lacking, and therefore it's not like one team's much better than you than another. Maybe some mismatch, some are a bad matchup possibly, but it also seems like maybe they play 35 good minutes and you might play 31 or something like that, and the difference is on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and it's those 3 minutes or 4 minutes are glaring. And that's what I try to tell our guys is the attention to detail in some of those minutes where a team can go on a 12, 13, 14 over run in the midst of those minutes, and then we don't have the ability to recover. That's another thing that CJ kind of adds to us, right? Like CJ kind of adds a level of explosion that can kind of put us over the top. Just another body to do that. Jaden does that as well. They just kind of add another level of explosion that can do that. Dalen has shown that he can add a level of explosion. He actually did against Riverside, where he just kind of, I'm gonna run off, 4 or 5 straight to kind of go get us the game or put us in position. And those are some of the things that you want, but you want those things to be consistent, right? And like you said, like we've played in some games, or we've been in some games, and then there's a 3-4 minute stretch or 4 or 5 minute stretch where the game just kind of get away from us. And again, me learning that, I've been calling more timeouts in some of those moments, right? Like here, timeout, like, hey, let's get this together. Let's try not let this get out of hand. So our ability to kind of combat that and grow out of that is something that we've been focusing on this week as well.
And finally, Jaden, what's his status moving forward?
Kind of the same. So Jaden didn't get surgery. They're trying to let his bone heal. Now it's just a matter of kind of where that's at. And the same thing with him is just like, do you want to kind of throw him out there to kind of rush him back, or do we kind of let him heal? So again, conversation that we'll have this week with his doctors, and I'm gonna talk with his parents as well, just about where he's at. I know he's feeling good, but his last X-ray or MRI, I think it was, they said that it was still slight fracture there. So
Good. So last I saw him, he was in a boot. Is he still in a boot?
he is walking normal. So he's out of the boot, walking normal. I think they've told him to keep the boot just in case, but he's able to walk with just just his shoes on and stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coach. Appreciate it.
continue our midweek press conference with head coach Weidman and open it up for questions.
Well, Coach, I know as we just spoke about, the win-loss record doesn't show up, but you guys have definitely played some better basketball. How do you take all that in?
Yeah, I'm pleased with it. Like, obviously, I love outcomes. Everybody loves outcomes, but I know as we're building that we're building in the right direction, and being able to finish and win games will come at the right time. And I'm going to stick to that. Like last year, I think I said, like, the team is like a seed, and really everything we're doing for this program. And I'm the type of person who I'm going to water my seed. I'm going to go back and look, or like I want to yank it out because I want the result, right? I think most people are like that. And it's like, just remember, this is a process, stay in process. And so we're still doing that with our team. We're still going to work on our same habits. There's got to be more urgency now. But I know that we're competitive in the league. Now we just need to, find a way to win and close out, when it's crunch time.
You're still right there chasing
Yep.
the 8
Yeah.
seed. Big week this week. They're all big now, I guess.
Yeah.
Just as you approach this week and the way your team's been playing, can you address the 2 games this week?
Yeah, this week, games coming up, I mean, they are huge, right? And so I thought we played poorly at UC Riverside, and we just had an awful day, to be honest. And so we've got to lock into scout. We made our adjustments that we're going to do from watching the film from last time. And so we've repped that when we're up for the next 2 days. And then, again, we had our chances to beat Cal State Fullerton, and that was without our starting point guard. And so ideally, we can stick to the same game plan and then do a much better job, though, of defending without fouling. Shooting almost 50 free throws is tough. We've got to defend a little bit better. But overall, I think our principles of what we want to do offensively and defensively and our game plan, they're all intact. And so now it's about executing. I think all the ideas are there. We've talked about that. Now we got to do it,
It seems like the path is still there to make the tournament. You got teams, you beat Long Beach pretty good. You still play them coming up.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the big picture in terms of at least, not so much talking about with your team, but yourself and going, okay, we did this, this, and this, we can get in, or what?
Yeah, I do, and we just met with the team about it. We showed them the schedules of the teams that we're fighting with, who are in those 8 to those bottom seeds. And so, like, we had real conversations about it, in the games that we've got to go get. But, like, you always want to – I talked to the team earlier about you don't want to have to depend on someone else, for your fate. And so that's why we wanted to win some more. But everything is still intact. We're 2 games behind, Cal State Northridge. And so, obviously, we need them to lose, and we need to beat them in our scenarios. But we talked about that just because we wanted them to see the big picture. That, again, if you stay in the fight, and you keep the faith, like, there's a way. And so I want to make sure that I'm, harping on that and the staff, that there is still a lot of basketball ahead of us. And we just have to be sharper, and then we'll get the outcome. Play hard for 40 minutes, execute, do the little things.
How would you quantify the difference between maybe some of the earlier losses that got away from you and some of the close losses you've had recently? Why is that? What have you seen?
I still think, which I don't like to say because it's February, but they're still from little details, right? I think every possession matters, and sometimes I live in all of them, but they all matter. And so some of the games we've lost early on and now have been because of little things, and that's why you harp on them, right? But it's the little things, and so we've got to be focused on those and paying attention to those little details and wrinkles, so that we can close them out. Because now we're fighting and we're keeping the games close, and so. Can you execute in the crunch time? And we have to keep doing special situations and trying to rep the mistakes and the panic and the, fear, anxiety you can have in practice, so that ideally we'll perform, under pressure.
Does the team have to learn how to win?
I do believe that. Yeah, it sucks sometimes because experience can be the best teacher, but yeah, it's tough. I have this thing on my phone I always look at, but it's like failure, experience, and success. And you kind of have to go through those, especially, until you can get like a bunch of kids who just came from winning programs, right? But I think it's a learned skill, and just being able to handle pressure, right? And so we've experienced that, They had some experience in some close games where we, have been able to find a way, but we've got to be more consistent in that regard. And I'm sure a bunch of these games will be close,
Yeah. What has pleased you the most about the improvement in play?
Yeah, what's impressive is, honestly, I think I'm just feel confident because I know what we do works, and so it's just trusting the process, honestly, and so ideally at the right time it'll click, but I think that everything will come together at the right time. I'm just gonna stay obedient and do what I'm supposed to do, but I'm pleased with how we're playing. Now it's just obviously you want results.
Yeah. Have you seen the teams and maybe individuals' basketball IQ improve? Have you seen maybe it hasn't come as quickly as you want? What?
Yeah, it's improved. I mean, I'm always going to kind of want some more in terms of that, but it's improved. I think that we talked about this earlier. Like, especially if there is a talent gap at times, right? You have to play smarter, and you've got to know scout. You've got to execute. Like, playing smarter and execution are huge if there is a gap. And so we've grown in that, and we need to continue to grow to finish these next 6 games out and be playing it in Vegas. So we're just going to keep repping patterns and trying to give them clear reads so that the decision making will be easier in game, and so we'll continue to do that. And I think that our guards have really grown. Like, Aaliyah has made a tremendous jump, especially with Morgan being out for the last couple weeks. And so, I think they're all capable. It's just being consistent. And so they can do it. We talked about them doing it. And so now we need to actually do the thing.
My final question, and you've seen everybody in the league.
Yeah.
Some multiple times. I know the answer is probably going to be in the affirmative, but I would just say yes, no, or I don't know are all appropriate. Do you think your team's a top 8 team in this conference?
Yeah, I do. And so we're going to be in that 8 seed. I'm going to speak it now, but we should be in the tournament, and we've got to perform. I think coaches, our job is to teach and demand, and players' job is to prepare and perform. So let's do the performing now. Like, it's time.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you, guys.
Get ready.
Let's grab it.
One's left.
Look at this, Kyle. I got a new court.
So while Greg's here, yeah, man, I saw that.
Yeah.
Looks
It
like
doesn't
it's
spring
homemade.
back. It's a lot longer.
Like, sweet. 10 o'clock on Thursday. No?
No, Thursday.
No, because they travel Thursday